worldwide fans of the planet's hottest entertainment with an edge. I'm Jaime En Fuego, and I welcome you here to another installment of Enfuegotainment, a Fresca Fuego film review. That's right, for a sequel that I was pretty damn excited about, the Lego Movie 2, The Second Chapter. Yeah, that's kind of a funny title, I guess, and kind of fits in with just that self-aware sense of humor that we got with the first film. And I must admit that I really enjoyed the first Lego film so much more than I was anticipating to. And then when they did the Lego Batman movie, I was like, holy shnikes, this is even better. And I mean, being a huge Batman fan, who the hell isn't a Batman fan? Taking the Will Arnett character and expanding it even more so. And then the Lego Ninjago movie came out, and they still hadn't done a sequel to the original Lego movie. And you know, it's like 5 years later now to the day here on the preview screenings, February 7th, 2019. So yeah, it's been 5 years, and is it too little too late? Yeah, it honestly is. And so here on Enfuegotainment, I always like to cover the bueno, the malo, and the feo, so a little bit of good, a little bit of bad, a little bit of ugly. And so, you know, so as to look at it with an objective mind, first and foremost, there is still that silly, slightly self-aware, self-referential humor about this Lego sequel, and it's awesome that we have Lord & Miller coming back, not directing it this time, but still scripting it, still producing it. You know, they did all of those and directed the previous one, but you know, they were a little busy with the Spider-Verse film, and you know, they've done lots of other great stuff. So it's nice to have their touch back. And the voice work is all pretty good for the most part. Chris Pratt actually plays two roles in this. So Emmett, and then there's this other, without spoiling anything, like slightly futuristic, similar version, long lost brothery, whatever, without spoiling anything. You've got Elizabeth Banks coming back as his kind of friend slash love interest of sorts. And then to a lesser degree, I mean, you've got Charlie Day coming back, you have Will Ferrell in a very small role coming back, and it's really just the continuing story of what happened after, you know, after the curtain was pulled back in the previous movie, and you realize, oh yeah, it's just a kid who wants to play with his father's Legos. And then the first film ended with the younger sister wanting to like just go mash up wacky alien invasion hog wild and like mix the universes and stuff, and that's really where we pick up the story here. Yeah, it's like the town is now called Apocalypseburg, and aliens are just periodically coming in and messing with things. It's got kind of the Mad Max Fury Road thing going on at a couple particular points. This is going to be a lot easier for me to talk about the malo of this film. So, I mean, good. It's nice to see those voice actors returning. Charlie Day as, you know, the spaceman guy. But there isn't enough new that is brought to the table here. So, in continuing with the good, though, the animation looked very slick. But this is really, I gotta segue into the malo because I have way more gripes. I had some chuckles here and there, but first and foremost, for malo, I didn't really think this film had as much to say as the previous one. Now, there is a message about how the play on words of everything is awesome, no, everything isn't always awesome, as they kind of switch the song up to be in this, and that's honestly very true about this movie. And they try to champion this whole vibe of, okay, you know, everything isn't always going to be awesome. However, you have to strive to have that power of positivity to try to make things awesome, even in the face of that adversity, even though, you know, you are well aware that it's not always going to be that way. But it's weird because that almost becomes the credo of the film, because this film, whereas I thought the other one, you know, was awesome and it was silly from the, you know, spatch up to, you know, honey, have you seen my pants? And a lot of the jokes just, once again, I mean, when they do the reprise of Everything's Not Awesome, and they're like, now I understand what Radiohead, you know, feels like and stuff. I mean, there's some decent jokes, but I definitely, very similar to my gripes with Ninjago, I felt like this one was much more geared at children than the previous one, and for that sheer fact, and the whole not having as much to say, like, the message of the original Lego movie was pretty legit in my opinion. It was about not being a conformist. It was about just not doing what everybody else does and being an individual and being, I mean, it had that kind of appealing to both adults and children type aspect to it, and the message here really doesn't. I mean, I guess Tiffany Haddish is a new character in this. She's good, so that's a bueno aspect. But it was a little too on the nose for me. For more MALO with the other character, that Pratt was doing, which was basically like, the cool version with the stubble, and he's going around with raptors, and I mean, some of it was funny, but they really didn't bring the humor to the forefront with some of the DC characters, this being a Warner Brothers movie, and that was something that they did so good in the previous one. There's only just really like kind of cameoing going on. I felt like Will Arnett was nowhere near as funny. Did they just use up all of that terrific humor in the Lego Batman movie, and then a lot of those hilarious nuggets, the darkness, no parents? The songs weren't as good in this, so Everything Is Awesome is definitely, it's a stupid song. It's annoyingly catchy, and they try to, crank it up to 11 times 2, which is a saying at one particular point in it, and it's the song is called This Song's Gonna Get Stuck in Your Head, or something to that degree, and as opposed to being fun and stupid and catchy and slightly annoying, it's just annoying. Once again, the reprise of Everything Is Awesome was pretty good, but man, as you can tell, I'm really grasping at straws to find the bueno in this. Feo, for ugly, it really boils down to something that I say on both the horror show, where I spend a lot more of my time, and that I've said here on Enfuegotainment before as well, is the burden of expectation is real shizzle, y'all. And I think the fact that I went into the original Lego movie like, this isn't going to be very good. It's based on a property. When are they making the Pez movie? When are they? I mean, they're working on a Monopoly movie. For God's sake. But yeah, the ugly aspect is that expectation is real, and compared to the last one, where I went in with like pretty much donuts for expectation, I come into this and my hopes are a little bit higher, especially after how much I loved Lego Batman. I guess Ninjago maybe could have tempered my enthusiasm a little bit, but this was at least better than that, but not by a large margin, man. And once again, pandering more so to kids, especially with some of the dialogue. I didn't feel like it just didn't feel as inspired. It really just genuinely didn't, and I think that is definitely a Feo thing, an ugly thing to mention here. And also the whole awesome aspect of pulling back the curtain, like I mentioned earlier, and showing, the real world versus the Lego world, and that, like that aspect of contrast and comparison, since you already know about that, and they do a little bit more flashing back and forth in this one, in my estimation, compared to the previous one. It just didn't feel as fresh, and this movie's not awesome. It's definitely not. It doesn't suck, but after the pedestal, I mean, after the bar has been set pretty damn high with, 2 of the 3 entries so far, I'm not really anticipating this to perform like insanely well at the box office. I'm not predicting that. I was not very fond of this film, but hey, film is subjective, as I all too often say, and so if you especially were a big fan of the first 2 Lego movies and just the property in general, I definitely say, well, it's got good intentions and a decent enough message. It does have a bueno message to it, okay, but it's just very by the books and just kind of, I don't know, it just didn't. It didn't feel very fresh to me, y'all. It just really didn't, and they they didn't give enough, especially to Charlie Day and Will Arnett, to really impress the hell out of me. John LaJoie songs, just not, the things that he did for this were not as good. And I'm pretty sure that was Lonely Island at the very end, you know, for oh boy, the end credits song that was being so self-referential about how prestigious it is to have the song in the end credits. I don't know. I just did not laugh a lot watching this movie. So, but hey, once again, you know, go out and see it, but maybe a matinee, or I don't know. I saw it in 3D, and the 3D, you know, was just, especially like that's another ugly thing. That's another Feo aspect, is the fact that Spider-Verse really legitimately set a new just premiere point and a new high mark for especially 3D animation in a film. I mean, boy, that's a pretty tough measuring stick to go against now in that regard. So yeah, I'd say go see Spider-Verse instead, if it's still in theaters. I mean, the Oscar-nominated Spider-Verse for the best animated film of the year. So yeah, I've been giving grades now for my films here on a scale of Feo to Enfuego. So like 1 to 5, like flaming fuego fireballs of film. And I'm gonna give this a 2. Yeah, I'm gonna give it 2 out of 5, and I'm gonna say this film was MALO. Yeah, it's not Feo, it's not 1 star, but it's only 2. I don't give halves. I would probably say this is more like a 2.5, but it's definitely not a 3. It's definitely not a Bueno movie, in my opinion, unfortunately, and very regrettably, because I was really stoked about this movie. So there you have it, y'all. That is my thoughts on the Lego Movie 2, the second part. I've been Jaime En Fuego. You can find me on all social media sectors like Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. With just a couple weeks now to the Oscars on February 24th, I'm going to be doing reviews of all 8 of the Best Picture nominees, from Roma to The Favorite to Black Klansman to Green Book. I mean, there's been a lot of really great films this year, and yeah, I'm very much looking forward to giving some reviews of those, and also, yeah, every Friday, moving forward with just a new film of the week to discuss. So, and I would also be remiss if I did not mention the horror show that, as I mentioned earlier, you can find me doing much more coverage of everything spooktacular. We do 2, sometimes 3 episodes a day. Just did our trailer reaction to the latest look at Pet Sematary, which is rife with controversy. And yeah, so if you want to see that and pretty much every other kind of horror coverage under the sun, yes, or under the full moon, I should say. Yes, jump over there at youtube.com/The Horror Show channel, and yes, make sure to like, share, subscribe, all that jazz here on this channel as well. So, and also hit the bell little thingy so you can get notifications about anytime I put up these new videos every week and stuff like that. So, once again, I have been Fuego, y'all have been awesome, and until the Wheel of Ka comes around once more, because this was just another turn on the wheel, I guess, I say hasta luego, Cinemigos, but I am hopeful that we reconnect sooner rather than later. Peace out.